Americans crave financial advice. 22% are still looking for the right advisor fit. Now, here to demystify access to advice and offer resources at a time when financial outlooks are increasingly complex is Jen Auerbach, I'm going to make sure I get it right, Rodriguez, financial expert. Good morning to you, Jen.
Good morning, James. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, what resources are available to Americans who are seeking out financial guidance?
Yeah, it's a great question, and there are a ton of resources available today, and the thing that is new and different is that we have just released a new tool, Merrill Advisor Match, which is really intended to be a brand new way for individuals to get to know and connect with financial advisors. And I would just say that the time around is now in terms of seeking out financial advice, market volatility, inflation, coming out of a global pandemic. All of these are aspects that are really accelerating the need for individuals to work with a financial advisor.
That sounds like a migraine headache. That's what it sounds like. Now, what barriers do Americans sometimes face when seeking financial guidance, and how can these be overcome?
Well, the description of a migraine headache, is not dissimilar from what we heard from a number of Americans who are seeking out financial advice. We basically heard three things in terms of what the barriers are to working with a financial advisor. One, it's difficult to know how to get started. What are the right questions to even ask so that I can get connected to a financial advisor? The second is there is a real level of intimidation that exists for people, particularly people who don't have the network. They don't know someone who is in the industry. And so, this level of intimidation, I think, is a real barrier to overcome. And then lastly, there are, the complexion of wealth in our country, it continues to change dramatically. And communities of color, continue to, accumulate more and more wealth. In fact, at a rate that is greater than the general population. And so when we think about, the way in which communities of color think about investing, about leaving a legacy for their next generation, there are so many nuances to that oftentimes, it might feel as though, financial advisors might not understand my unique perspective, the way in which my culture really influences the way I think about money. And so there are real barriers that exist, and Merrill Advisor Match, really intends to democratize access. It aims to demystify all of that. It aims to be that extra strength Tylenol to that migraine headache.
I like that analogy. Now, what do Americans gain from working with a financial advisor?
Yeah, it is really, peace of mind, knowing that there is a plan that has been developed to, weather whatever the markets might throw at you, that can, weather, inflation, that can still enable you and your family to accomplish, all that you want to accomplish, and to offer, peace of mind, knowing that you have a plan in place. And so working with a professional who can develop that plan for you, or even offer a second opinion on a plan that you already have. The benefit is really knowing that you have a second pair of trained eyes offering you advice and guidance.
Now, how might financial guidance look different for different demographics?
Yeah, exactly. Again, thinking about the changing complexion of wealth in our country, what we learned when we spoke to affluent members of the Black community, of the Hispanic community, of the LGBTQ community, is that there are real nuances and differences to how people think about, what retirement means. Does retirement mean just a next chapter in one's life? Does retirement mean kicking up one's feet? Does retirement mean, taking, vacations with the second and third generation family members. It can mean so many different things when it comes to talking to your loved ones, to your children, about money, about how to invest. And it's through all of these differences that, working with a financial advisor who truly understands those unique needs, those unique preferences, is when it really all does come together.
Jen, my idea is on a sandy beach with my feet kicked up, a little tropical drink in my right hand, my little hat on, my sunglasses, and just laid back and chilling. That's my retirement.
Mine is not too dissimilar, James.
We've been talking with financial expert Jean Auerbach Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend.
Thank you, James.